Well, good morning and welcome to Morning Coffee. I am Keith Reynolds, and this is a special edition of Morning Coffee. You know, here at Morning Coffee, we actually bring anybody on to talk about their industry, their job, what they do. I don't really care what they do, but everything is interesting to me. And we found these particular next guest, and it's a very interesting story. And you know, it just hits kind of home to me. I mean, I don't have anybody in this situation. Maybe on the female side, on the male side, I can't, you know. But it just really hit hard because I think that, you know, there's a lot of people that need help out there, and these ladies have really brought it to the table. So I want to welcome Camille Johnson and Cherie Rivera, okay, and they're with the C.H.I.L.L.O.U.T program. Is that right?
Yes, thank you.
Ladies, welcome.
Thank
welcome,
you for having us.
welcome. And for my cousins out there, I'm sorry. No females of mine have ever been in this program or been to where we're going to be talking about. But anyway, you know, the C.H.I.L.L.O.U.T program, it is a program about, well, I'll let you tell it.
Sure. The C.H.I.L.L.O.U.T program is a 12-week faith-based mentorship program that we host inside of Riverside Correctional Facility.
Riverside Correctional Facility. Now my cousins know where we're going. All right. So, you know, how did you get involved in this?
Well, it's the craziest thing. However, I too had nobody in prison. I never visited prison. I'm a minister. And in ministry, there was prison ministries, but I've never done it. And I experienced a very hard, devastating time in my life. And during that time, just praying and asking God, why am I here? What is this for? And his response to me was, I'm sending you to the prison to service my daughters. Okay? It made no sense. And wound up there. And every door for me to be there began to open. And now I find myself 3 years later still serving women in prison.
Very cool, very cool. What about you, Cherie?
Well, Camille gave me a call one day. We had worked in the same office but did not really know each other. And she called and said, so, hey, listen, I'm doing this. What are you doing? Oh, that sounds exactly like I wish you'd be doing. So I ended up working with her now. Like she says, we're 3 years in.
Very, very cool. Now, so have you ever worked like with people like this before? Or?
Well, we're both real estate agents by trade.
Are you really?
Absolutely,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, we're real estate agents with Keller Williams Real Estate. But I've been doing social work all of my life in different capacities at the Philadelphia Housing Authority, different nonprofit agencies. And so I've always had a heart to service people, just never this particular population specifically.
Okay. So now, I mean, you think of this nonprofit, and it's great. You know, I would assume the first encounter on this had to be a little tough.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was nervous because we have a bunch of images in our mind from television and
absolutely
right, the dungeon and chains and things like that. We think that that's what prison is. And prison is actually comprised of people that we see every day in the supermarket, bus stop. Everybody doesn't choose to go to prison.
Right.
Sometimes it's just by happenstance, wrong place at the wrong time.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. Now, you know, you named the inmates because they're not inmates. They're, what do they call them?
We have affectionately named them kinmates.
Kinmates.
Yes.
Kinmates. Now, why kinmates?
Kin means family.
Mm-hmm.
And we want them to know going in that they have just entered into a sisterhood that doesn't just span for 12 weeks. Because we service the ladies on the inside through the C.H.I.L.L.O.U.T program, and we adopted a new program called Grow Out that we service them when they are released, if they are released, because everybody's not released. But just to expound a little bit, C.H.I.L.L.O.U.T is an acronym, and it stands for Character, Honesty, Integrity, Loyalty, and Leadership Operating Under Transition. And then when they come out, they're in Grow Out, which stands for Getting Results Outside of the Walls.
Okay. Now, you know, I got to be honest with you. You know, a lot of people probably, you know, they feel that, you know, it doesn't help when inmates get out, and they go out into society, that a lot of them can't function and they end up back in there.
Right.
You know, mostly I think it's men. I don't have no statistic to hold that up, but I just think it is men only. But how did the women work out?
Well, it's funny. We were the same way. When you think of prison, I think most people think men. A lot of people don't think of the women that actually are incarcerated, and the statistic for that it's increasing every week, and it's alarming numbers. And
Really?
so, yeah, we can see a lot of women, but our prison holds 850 women approximately, and it stays almost at capacity. And so women are going in there, coming out, and so that's part of why we implement this program to help with the recidivism rate. One thing that the ladies have shared with us, and I'll never forget this one particular woman, she's doing time upstate right now, but she sat in the classroom and she said to me, Camille, I didn't know I had options. Sometimes people just didn't know. When you enter into, or you're living in a cycle where my mom was like this, my grandma was like this, or my family is like this, how do I know anything different
Right.
unless I'm shown?
You know,
And so
we're
that's what
creatures
I
of
feel.
habit.
Exactly.
You know, it's funny, we do a show here on Radio Vision called Under Pressure,
Mhm.
you know, and a lot of the people that are in prison, you know, we just chalk it up as like whatever, they're bad people, but no, like, you know, maybe that kid that robbed the grocery store has 6 siblings, and
That's right.
he doesn't know how, he or she doesn't know how to provide for them. The mother is maybe a drug addict or
Mhm.
whatever. They're just trying to survive.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then they get put into this system.
Right.
And you know, for some people they can get out of it and realize it, but others just,
Absolutely.
they just don't know, and they really need. And then you put them into a box, but
Mhm.
then you don't teach them how to be
Exactly.
better. That's a problem
That's
with our
exactly it.
society. That really is.
Mhm.
You know, and you know, I'm not condoning anything they did, but I'm just saying that there's reasons why.
Right.
We all just think, you know, or they're crazy.
Right.
No, you know,
That's a
most
reason.
of them are smart people.
Absolutely.
In prison, there are a lot of the smart people. They just didn't, you know. So.
Smart, they're talented, they're gifted, they have a lot to contribute. A lot of times society just doesn't offer them that platform to do so,
Right.
especially when coming out of prison. You know, it's hard coming out of prison for a male or for a female.
Right.
When you come out, you're deemed a felon or you have a misdemeanor. It's hard
Right.
to get a job.
Right.
You know, and so because society takes away so many of the privileges to regular citizens, now we have, like you said, I don't condone the bad things, but I
Right.
understand why I
Right.
would if I have to feed my children, my family. We have to provide other avenues, and that's what our program does. We teach them that there are different ways to do that. I may not necessarily be able to get a conventional job, but I'm good with my hands. I
Right.
know how to make things. I'm creative. I can write a book. I can do things that don't necessarily have a hindrance with my felony conviction.
Right. Very good. Very good. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to get into the back end of it, the nuts and bolts of your program, and give our listeners some valuable information on it.
Okay.
We're right back.
Choosing the right fence for your home or business is an important decision to make. Choose a Nello fence for peace of mind. Our family has manufactured and installed beautiful maintenance-free fence for over 50 years. We provide vinyl, aluminum, and wood fence in a wide variety of styles and colors, including chain link fence for commercial and residential. Call or visit our indoor showroom and ask for Steve Anello and see how 4 generations of combined experience mean that you'll get quality and service that can't be matched by any other fencing company, period. Call Anello Fence today for a free estimate.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
Well, welcome back. I'm Keith Reynolds, host of Morning Coffee. You're watching a special edition of Morning Coffee. Today I have our guest on, Camille Johnson and Cherie Rivera. I am just doing it good because I know you guys know I've brutalized names. I did that without even breaking stride. So, and they are with C.H.I.L.L.O.U.T program. And right before break, we said that we would get into the nuts and bolts of your program. So, I'll start with you, Camille. Tell us a little bit about the program and how it works for the women that have been incarcerated.
Sure. So like I said earlier, it's a 12-week faith-based program, and so we're teaching the women the principles biblically that make up the acronym C.H.I.L.L.O.U.T, character, honesty, integrity, and we teach them how to apply it to their lives. What makes our program a little bit different is that we actually assign assigned another Christian woman on the outside to each one of the women in our class that becomes what we call their transitional coach or mentor. That person begins to write them and provide them with resources, get to know them, and spend a lot of time just supporting them and encouraging them. And it's often that our kinmates are really surprised by that kind of relationship from a stranger, that just doesn't know them but does definitely care.
Right.
And so in week 6, all of the transitional coaches get to come in and meet the person that they've been writing to that entire time and establish a plan of action. What are you going to do in order to be successful when you come out of prison? And what does that look like? And they deal with every aspect of life, from their children, spiritually, education-wise, employment. What steps need to be had in order to do that?
Now, you talk about, as far as the program being a spiritual type of thing.
Yes.
I mean, so I guess it doesn't matter what they've done.
Correct.
In this group, I guess, is it changing behavior, or is it, do you find that a lot of them don't believe in God?
It varies. It's open for any religion. We
Any
are
religion?
not
Okay.
any religion. This cycle, we're in cycle 8 right now, and this cycle actually is comprised of about 60% Muslim women.
Really?
And yes, absolutely. Because the women understand that we love you for you. We don't segregate anybody because of their faith or belief. You are my sister, and I treat you as such. And they're open, they come in and they participate readily and share the information with their cellmates and so other women that are on the units with them, so that the word and the lessonry is spreading. And that's what we try to teach the girls. Don't just take it for you, share it with the other girls, because we're only able to service anywhere from 28 to maybe 40 women per cycle, but they can touch other women that we probably can't.
Now, Sherry, you're actually in the classroom with Camille, and she's, you guys are teaching. And, tell us a little bit of what's that like for in the classroom?
Well, from my perspective, while Camille is teaching, I'm able to observe some of the reactions of the women. Like Camille said, we have a diverse group of women that are there. We don't ask them what their crimes are. We try to love them and learn who they are for who they are at the time that we meet them.
Right.
And then we also try to keep an eye on them statistically. Where were they born? Where do they live? How many children do they have? Etc. So that as they move through their process, we can try to help during that time.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Now, when you said about the cycle, what's the length of a cycle?
It's 12 weeks.
12. Okay, so the 12 weeks, and then you have 40. You said
Yeah,
about
over
40.
28 to 40 women.
Now, how is this selected? How are they? Is it a program that they have to? Because if you want to be saved, you gotta want to be saved.
That's right.
So how does that work?
Well, our program is completely volunteer to the kinmates. And in order for them to enroll in the program, they have a social service department. And so it's the responsibility of the kinmate to go to their social worker and ask to be put on the list for our next cycle. We are proud and just thankful to God to say that our cycles are always full to the max. The women want to be a part of the program. We don't have the capacity to serve as many people as there are that want to be in the program, but they go to their social worker. The social worker, when we come back for the next cycle, gives us a list, and those will be our class participants at that time.
Okay. Now, there was, we're going to get to some pictures, but, there was a picture with the warden in there.
Yes.
Do you find that, the warden and the other workers in the prison are really receptive to what you're doing?
Absolutely. The staff is always very, very supportive. Actually, the staff is the one that encourages a lot of the girls to come to our class because of what they see happening within. A lot of times we'll get girls, we said it early, but we don't ask any of the ladies what their crime is. So when I'm looking at you and I'm learning Cherie, I'm like, I want to know Cherie for Cherie, not Cherie, the so-called murderer.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I want to know who she is. And so because of that, we don't have a judgmental atmosphere. We just learning who they are and where they're striving to be. And it always promotes a love and a trust that may not have been there had we learned of what they were.
Okay. I believe that, and that's like the third time I've heard that today, just, for what's in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a big thing. What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick commercial break. Got to pay some bills, and we're going to we'll be right back, and we'll talk a little bit more. We've got some pictures to show of some of the inmates that are graduating, I think, soon.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right, we'll be right back.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show has been sponsored by Farmers Insurance in Voorhees, New Jersey. To protect your assets and the people you love, call Mike Skoranek, your local Farmers Insurance agent, at 856-336-2553.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Well, welcome back. I'm Keith Reynolds, host of Morning Coffee, and you are watching a special edition for you folks that are just tuning in. We are with the ladies from C.H.I.L.L.O.U.T. We have Camille Johnson and Cherie Rivera. Yes, 3 times I did it. And for you people that are just tuning in and saying, what the heck is he talking about now? I got their names right on all 3 breaks. I can get a high five. All right, so ladies, you know, very, very interesting stuff. You know, I got to tell you before we go further, you guys are truly going to make a difference in the world, and I can probably see it's happening already. I'm just, you know, I saw this story and I was like pretty amazed over it. So, you know, we were talking about the Chill Out program.
Yes.
Okay, and then we have some pictures that we can pop up. Okay, and the first picture is of.
It's our Cycle 7 graduation,
Okay.
and it's a picture that is comprised of all of our transition coaches and our kidmates that graduated. That was right after the program ending, and it was just showing them in their excitement of actually completing a program. One of the things that the girls do at the end of week 12 is they put together their graduation program, which is humongous because a lot of them never completed anything. And so their family and friends are invited to the prison, and so their families there to see them. It's a very
Very cool.
exciting program.
Sense of accomplishment.
Yes.
That's the beginning to healing and getting back to it. So that's really cool. Now, there is a graduation coming up, right?
Yes.
Okay, and that's when?
April the 15th.
April the 15th, and we're going to go back to that. But let's see, what's the next picture we got up? That's they're in pink, I believe.
Yes.
With the award.
Yes, our picture of our transitional coaches, and we are there with the former warden of Riverside
Former
Correctional Facility. Yes, they just had a shift, but he was the warden that was in place while we were, when we first started.
Okay. And, you know, you said you started, 3 years ago? Now, how many classes have you, is it classes? It's called classes?
Cycles.
Cycles. How many cycles have you had?
We're getting ready to graduate Cycle 8 on the 15th.
Okay, so that's 8 cycles. So how
Yes.
many of you guys do a year? So you,
About 3.
3?
3 or 4.
Okay, because I'm sure it's a nightmare to get everything logistically planned out.
It's a lot.
Okay, all right, cool.
But it's worth it.
It's worth it, absolutely. And then the third picture is pretty much one of your banners that you have up
Yes.
for the Chill Out program. Now, speaking of a lot to put, now, you know, Cherie was saying, you know, you guys, you know, you haven't really had any funding. It's all been on you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's pretty amazing. That's, you know, that's people that, you know, you've been truly blessed to do this. So, you know, but it's not that you can't take funding, though.
Absolutely.
You're always looking.
Yes.
So now, is it looking for funding where it's more cash donations? Obviously, you always need help with people that want to be, I'll call it a sponsor.
Yes.
Is that right?
Absolutely.
So
yes.
you have sponsors. Now, how do you become a sponsor?
Well, they would just call the number on the banner that was posted, and we're 501 nonprofit, so we're official 501c3, and anyone can sponsor or they can donate individually to the cause. A lot of families do donate in terms of Bibles. We give out a lot of Bibles, and we give out a lot of paraphernalia for the girls to read while they're in prison. and so, hopes that it will just aid them in their next elevation, on the next journey.
They can, again, we talked about this from the beginning of the show, how TV puts a slant on prison. So
Mhm.
you can give them a book to read then.
Yes, we can give them books with approval from the warden. We can provide them with just any type of reading materials so that they can progress. We want to make sure
Yeah.
it stays enhanced when we finish the cycle and go on to the next one.
Okay.
I also want to mention that journals are very important
Yes.
for them to be able to write down what they're thinking, what they're feeling. Does help them on that journey.
Okay. Very, very, and that is important. Everybody, I think everybody should have a journal. You know what I mean? It just helps you get thoughts out.
Yes.
Sometimes I use my phone and I record what I'm thinking because I just got so much going on in my head.
Yes.
It's good to get it out there because it becomes clogged up. But you said something. I think you said there was 800 inmates
Yeah.
at that prison,
Yeah.
and you only could get to 40 of them
Yes, per cycle.
per cycle,
Yes.
and all of them need.
The waiting list is over 450.
Oh my God! Wow. How do we duplicate you guys so we can speed up the process?
We would need to in order to be able to service all of those families. It's nothing for us to walk through the hallways and it's so funny. A girl say, "Aren't you Child?" I said, "No, my name is Camille," but but they know us as our program because they'll say, "I want to be in a program. I'm on a waiting list. I'm waiting so that they can get out." Sometimes they don't get the opportunity because it's according to their census. One thing is good to know is that the girl, even though they're in the class with us, they're there for sentencing a lot of times. So if their judge sentences them or they're released, they may not necessarily complete the classes. So we give what we can, and we just sow. Some times we're watering seeds that some people have already sown, but we do our part as the Lord allows us to be able to do it while they're there.
Well, that brings me to my next question. Okay, if they do get out and they do want to see you guys again, how do they do that? Do you have a program set up?
Yes.
Or did I open up another?
No,
Okay.
no. This is good. When we first started the program, we started with C.H.I.L.L.O.U.T. We didn't think that the ladies would want to be with us when they got out. We just didn't. So we had to develop another phase of the program, and we called it Grow Out, and it stands for Getting Results Outside of the Walls. And within that program, we recognize because the needs of women in prison are so huge, there's no way we could do them all ourselves. So we started partnering with various organizations to provide different services to the young ladies. One of them being Impact Services. They provide our women with a free state ID as soon as they come out of prison, so that you can't do anything without proper identification.
Nothing.
Right, nothing.
Nothing. So they get out, and the state ID. I mean, but what does it say? It just says state ID. It doesn't.
It's their state ID. It's similar to the
That's it.
driver's license, but
Okay.
it's official state identification, so that they can go to probably welfare. They can get Social Security cards, but if you don't have any identification, they'll use the armband that they get in jail as proper ID in order to allow them to get. Yes, awesome.
Really? So they give you the armband is if you don't have the ID, that's how you really
Right,
get
they give the armband to Impact Services, and Impact Services
I
gives it
gotcha,
to the
okay.
DMV to produce them a state identification card.
Now, does anybody work with them as far as getting them help, back into the job career or something?
Yes, we just started a program called Handle Your Business. One of our transitional coaches is hosting and facilitating that herself, where she teaches our ladies how to interview, to develop their resume. We're in the process of partnering with other organizations and organizations to just help them to get jobs. It's hard to get a job with a felony.
It's hard to get a job, period.
Right.
Definitely, the odds are stacked against
Right.
you. Unless you're a professional athlete, then they can do anything. and isn't that kind of crazy?
Yes.
You could be somebody and do some bad stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
all right, we'll give you, sure, can I get
$10
your
billion,
autograph?
right.
I don't know if you caught some of that OJ thing, but the one clip I saw from it, I didn't watch the series, but the guy's he's in the prison cell, and the guard's like, "Can I get an autograph?" I was like, dude, do you understand what he just did?
Right, right.
Seriously, or he didn't do whatever. I mean, so it's pretty crazy. So, tell the audience out there, first of all, before we go, tell them about the graduation. The graduation's coming up next week.
Yes, graduation is April the 15th. We can't invite everybody because you have to have clearance to go into that. But we're excited because our girls are, like I said, they put together the program and they're doing their rendition of Scared Straight. And their hope is to show families, their families as well as other kinmates that'll be there, not to make some of the same mistakes that they made when they came in.
Right.
So this is their way of giving back from the inside out.
Okay, very cool. So why don't you tell the people where we can find you?
Yes, you can find us at P.O. Box 2120, Philadelphia, PA 19102. You want to give our phone number?
The phone number is 267-541-2445, and the email address is CH.I.L.L.O.U.T@gmail.com.
Okay, awesome. Well, this is going to wrap up Morning Coffee. I want to thank the ladies from C.H.I.L.L.O.U.T. Coming on for our program. And actually, we are going to probably get I'm going to be there, and we're going to get some footage of it because I'm excited. I want to see how this really works and see the ladies happy that they've accomplished something because, you know, as you start positive, you know, accomplishments, that's your rebuilding part.
Okay.
So I'm very excited. I want to thank you for coming on to the
Thank
show.
you so much.
This is Keith Reynolds. This has been a special edition of Morning Coffee. We're going to be signing out, and please stay tuned for another Morning Coffee show.